one. So welcome to Relentless Talk Radio. Welcome back for segment 2. This is the health and fitness segment for Relentless Talk Radio. This is the first time I'm doing a recorded interview. So we're hoping it's going to go off without a stitch, but you never know. So it's actually December 19th as we have this conversation, but this show will actually broadcast on December 24th. So this is how we do things relentlessly. We just try it and see what happens. We'll cross our fingers. So I am talking with Deanna Evans. She's a yoga teacher. Deanna and I have been friends for 5 years. I think we actually had a yoga teacher training together, though, actually, when I think about it. So it might be longer. No, that's good. But we do kind of hang out in the same circles. Right. And so Deanna is a good friend of mine. And also she was one of the teachers that I featured at the Fearless Artworks Gallery when I had that in Carefree. So I'm a huge fan. And I've invited Deanna to come on board as one of the Relentless Talk Radio health and fitness experts. And so Deanna, tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Okay, I'm Deanna Evans. What do I do? I teach yoga. I do my best to help people overcome the things that they find are holding them back in life. And I do that with just talking one-on-one. I do that with using, I do private Reiki sessions where we can figure out some stuff going on that way. I do private yoga nidra sessions, so we definitely figure out what's going on that way. And then I teach a beginner's yoga intensive, which, we can talk about that, but
we'll talk about it a little later in detail. But basically, you love to teach yoga, but you don't teach just experienced people. You like to bring people into the fold that maybe haven't been exposed to yoga before. Yeah. And then you also like to dig into, I don't know, what I call the real yoga, which has zero to do with your body and more to do with your heart, your soul, and your spirit, right?
Absolutely.
Which is what Reiki is. And for people who don't know what Reiki is, can you tell them what it is?
It's really hard to explain. I try to explain it all the time.
It's like an energy transference kind of thing,
really
right?
Is. Yep. It's universal life force energy. And anybody can do it, but you have to have the actual attunement. Like you have to have you don't have to. But
you have to be trained to deliver Reiki, but we all have the ability to deliver Reiki.
Yes. And so I actually do train, and so I teach it as well. But I also perform it. I what's the word? Administer. I administer it. So the energy comes out of my hands, and I'm able to transfer the energy onto and into someone else. Therefore making that person more balanced. And in the process, I can feel intuitively. I can actually know what's going on, like in their physical body, and a lot of times in their emotional body. And it's just a knowingness that occurs. And so we have a conversation and talk about it.
Well, it's really fantastic because I'm a big believer in energy generally, right? And I'm a big believer in folks that are conduits, and you are a conduit for universal energy, and you're working with people on helping to have them both receive it, but also you receive it back.
Well, not with Reiki. You don't receive it back. It's a full-on give.
Okay.
But the part that
you can sense it, I guess, maybe, is that you're able to sense what they're feeling.
Yes, because I'm an empath. Like I can feel what's going on with someone else physically. I can feel it in my physical body.
Yeah, you and I share that in common. So for me, it's like super important to be around positive people because I can pick up. You and I have that in common. We can pick up on negative stuff pretty easily. It manifests itself in my body. It's really an amazing thing. But with Yoga Nidra is the most amazing thing. Basically, an hour of Yoga Nidra is like 8 hours of sleep. It's the most amazing experience. And I've taken your class several times, and we've also been in Yoga Nidra classes together. It's a really amazing practice where you're literally lying on the floor receiving.
Yeah.
And you come out of a yoga nidra hour just like totally lifted up, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's awesome. And I love that
Yeah.
you continue to do it. And the beginner's yoga is more about the physical asanas or the postures, the movement, the physical part of it that most people kind of know about
Right.
and are afraid of because they think they have to be bendy. I get that word. I'm
Yeah.
not bendy.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not bendy. Well,
Right.
that's how you do yoga. You can get bendy. So your spirit can become bendy. That's really it's about the breath and about your spirit becoming open and
Yeah.
as a result, learning how to control your mind because you're learning how to control your body. So why do you do it? How
Why do
come?
I do it? Michelle, I can't tell you the depth of my passion to help people heal.
Why?
I've always had this passion to help people heal. But what I'm finding is that not everybody wants to heal. So,
Oh my gosh. Some
right?
people love to suffer. Isn't it
Yeah.
funny? It truly is a riot you're talking to someone, you're teaching someone, you realize, oh, I'm sorry, you prefer to be in pain, right?
Yes. There's so much resistance. And so it's like, I only want to help people that want to help themselves. So I provide a space for it to help. I provide the space.
Love it.
Yeah. I'm done. I'm
I,
done.
I am done dragging people into feeling better and recovery and making money and all that stuff. That's been my biggest thing this year is pruning people in every area of my life that I have to drag. Clients, colleagues, friends, family members, just anybody that I have to drag into happy. You know what I mean? Call me when you're ready to like be happy. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? Or like I just acknowledge that you're where you're at and I accept that I don't have to change that for you, right? That you're just where you're at. So what's the biggest lesson that you've learned about being in business? Because you are in business. You're a yoga teacher and a Reiki practitioner, and you're an intuitive, but you are in business because you get paid for what you do, which means that you're in business.
Right. So what I am learning, it's not even something that I have learned.
Yeah.
What I'm learning is that you have to get up and show up and do everything, even if there's no one knocking on your door. You know what I mean?
I do.
Even if there's no one knocking on your door, you still got to keep going and you still got to persevere and you still got to keep the faith and not forget what you're doing and why you're doing it, right? Because eventually, like, it's easy to get hardened and it's easy to close down, but if you have to stay open and you have to trust the process and you have to trust that everything is going to show up when the time is right. And that is what is that
I
is
love it. You
Yeah.
and I, when we were trying to grow the yoga studio part of Fearless Artworks, knew that you just have to show up at Tuesday at 3 o'clock for your class. And keep on showing up and telling people and showing up and telling people. And eventually you'll get people there. But
Yeah.
you don't just, I remember when I was opening up my salon in Vermont, and I remember a colossal effort. It was the same thing for the gallery that it took to get the brick and mortar space open. It was like, holy crap, tons of work, right? And the day that you open, it's 9 o'clock and you turn the lock on the door, and now the door is unlocked, and you just go, okay, we're open. Where are the people? You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
and that's how it is when you're teaching a class. You have to literally show up for 1 or 2 or 0 people the longest time, and then have a couple people come and then they love it and then they tell their friends, and before you know it, you're modern yoga with 100 people in class. But
Right.
the first time that John Salisbury taught a class, I have to ask him this question. I bet you there was one person there, or maybe, I don't know, a couple people he knew, or maybe, I don't know. But the first time you actually teach a class, you're not necessarily going to have people show up, right?
Right. Right.
Yep.
So my space here, the office, it only holds 4 students maximum.
Perfect.
because it's small. So I don't just have like a class schedule. Hey, is anyone coming? Oh, like you prepay for the series.
Right.
Yeah. So, I can run the series and then have no one sign up. Or I can just keep running the series and running the series and running the series, and all of a sudden it's full.
You just got to keep on putting, because people will see, okay, we'll just jump in here first. You have a beginner's yoga intensive coming up between January 6th and February 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you were going to have 4 people because you're manifesting that. You're going to have 4 people in that class if you don't already. But there's only 4, right?
Right.
Love it. So scarcity. Okay. So you have, if nobody shows up for that class, you don't just not do it again.
Right.
Decide, I'm going to try February 6th. Maybe that'll work.
Exactly.
You keep on pushing it out there, and you do things like Relentless Talk Radio, and you hope that someone's listening to this on December 24th and saying, you know what? I'm going to call Deanna and I'm going to get in that class, because there's only 4 people. And I know that at least 4 people of the 3,000 people that are going to watch this video are going to want to be in that class. And so that's awesome. I love it. That's awesome. So you also have Yoga Nidra that you're doing, and you customize the Yoga Nidra practice personally at the studio, which is actually located on at Stitched Head and Heart Project. I love that. Where is it located?
In Stagecoach Village in Cave Creek.
See, I just learned that. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. So what do you think that, what the topic for this week was chosen because I spoke with Scott Warren earlier. He's actually coming after you. It's so funny. It's a weird thing. I learned that I could record BeLive interviews. It's so cool. So I recorded Scott's interview first, and his pre-interview, I thought, okay, I know what the topic's going to be this week. The topic is this week, be an original, everyone else is taken. And so pre-interview, I said to you, okay, so the question's going to be, when have you been chosen to be original when the world wanted you just to keep on going like your own in their path, to follow the herd? And you said, what did you say?
I said, what if I never followed the herd?
And I said, perfect.
Right.
Awesome. So you've never been a person that gave a shit, quite frankly, about what other people were thinking about you. You're yourself all the flipping time.
Right.
All the time. And I love that about you. That's why you're such a good teacher.
Right.
You're yourself all the flipping time.
Right. I mean, there's definitely been times in my life where, in like adolescence or whatever, where like everyone's opinion mattered. But like at the core of who I am, I don't give a flipping,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just gonna do your thing.
Right. And I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be good to everybody and loyal to my people. I'm not just gonna go off and do my thing and funk somebody over.
Right.
I'm gonna show up with integrity and just be me.
See, and I love that about you. And that's, you and you and I have had many conversations over the years that we've known each other about, sometimes being you is being you, being me, being yourself is not an easy road to toe, right? I mean, it's not always easy. It's bumpy, it gets messy and all that crap. But, what other choice do we have, really?
Right.
There's no other choice.
Right.
So, I'm thinking about, so the biggest lesson, I've asked that question, the who, what, and the why. And we've got plenty of time to talk about other stuff. So let's talk a little bit more about yoga.
Okay.
And more specifically about yoga.
Okay. So
we've been practicing yoga together for 5 years. I like hot yoga, but I also do Ashtanga, and I do Nidra, and I do Yin. Love Yin yoga. Talk about yoga and what the draw is for yoga for you.
For me, it's what I just found? Did I tell you that I just found Kundalini?
You didn't, but I've done a little bit myself, and we just recently had Stacey Davis on, and she's a Kundalini teacher.
Oh man, I went to Sedona and I Kundalini class, and I came out of there and I was seeing fractals. I went out of my body and into a beautiful, higher, way higher state. and I had to it took me a few hours to get back in my body. And because it's all about the breath work and the movement at the same time.
Yeah.
And like that I've only done the Kundalini that one time, and that's my favorite yoga I have ever done in my entire life. Because
Which studio in Sedona?
Own Base.
I haven't been to that one yet. That's good to know because I'll be in Sedona this winter, I'm sure, or definitely in the summer. That's cool. So what was it about Kundalini that really, because I've done a little bit of it, and it's the little bit that I've done has not been easy practice.
Right.
But
Yeah.
tell me about what you easy. I mean, that word easy is kind of relative. But tell me about the actual practice.
So the actual practice is you hold your breath, and you take your breath like up and down the
Chakra. Yeah.
yeah, like the spine, and the Kundalini
Yeah.
energy like coils up.
Yeah.
And so when you're breathing, you're doing a repetitive physical motion, and you're breathing at the same time. So let's say you're in a forward fold, or
So you're bending over and you're touching your toes.
yeah. So basically, you just do one pose with the breathing technique for like several minutes at a time, okay? And then you switch poses, and you just like, up and down, for example, up and
Right.
down, for example, with the breath. And it's just like there's so much heat going on, and it's 100%, it's a moving meditation on top of the physical body going, and it's just insane. I mean, that experience in that class for me that day was insane in the best way.
Oh, that's cool. So are you gonna get certified as a Kundalini teacher?
You know what? I probably should.
Yeah.
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 I probably.
Where did you do your training? You did your training somewhere here, didn't you?
I did it at SWIHA, Southwest Institute of Healing Arts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I did mine at Dave Ashtanga, so we actually learned in different places. But yoga has it's a very old practice, and there's a lot of similarities. So why did you choose beginning yoga above, there's some teachers that love doing arm balances. They love an advanced yoga where I love to go into an advanced yoga class because I'm just mesmerized what people can do with their bodies.
Oh yeah.
My body doesn't, I have shoulder surgery, so I can't do some of the arm stands are no longer there for me. They're no longer mine to do. I can't stand on my head any longer because I had a whiplash injury, and I've discovered that whenever I stand on my head, it causes issues. So there's some things that I just shouldn't do, don't want to do, but I also love that I can modify when I go to those classes, and I love to watch what the human body is capable of. But you decided, I'm going to work with beginners. How come?
Because I know of so many people that want to do yoga, but they're afraid to go to a yoga class. They have that intimidation factor.
Yeah, because they're afraid of all those bendy people I was just describing.
Exactly. So I decided to provide a space and a class, a workshop, if you will, a 5-week workshop class where they don't have to feel intimidated, and they get to learn all the things from the ground up.
Right.
And from there, they can go and take it further.
Right. They can go.
Want to ignite it within them. Yeah.
I remember my first yoga class actually. I had an ex-boyfriend from New York comment on my page once when I was raving about yoga. He was like, "You used to hate yoga." I did, because I was a gymnast and a swimmer, and then I went on to bodybuilding, and I got tight from bodybuilding, and so I didn't have the flexibility that I used to have. But I also felt like it was somebody else's moves, and I just felt uncomfortable. So when I had my shoulder operated on, I heard about hot yoga, and so I went and I started. The first 9 years I practiced only Bikram, and then when I came to Arizona, I started to practice Sumits, which is a kind of variation of Bikram. Sumit is Bikram's nephew, and now Sumit and Bikram have moved along, and it's become, we won't get into that conversation, but it's become just hot yoga, and every studio does it a little different. So I like the heat, but I also knew that when I did my training, I wanted to train about yoga generally. So I got a Ashtanga practice, which so I could learn where the hot yoga series that I was doing came from. And in doing that, I learned about the books and the philosophy, and I was able to get deeper into yoga. And I just think that people don't realize that yoga is a way of life. It's not just a physical practice.
Right. Right.
The physical practice is actually what helps you tolerate life.
Right.
It connects you to your breath, which is necessary for breathing. You know what I mean? And life, right? So yoga really is for everybody.
Yeah.
I remember being in my first class going, oh, because I had come out of shoulder surgery. I was tight. I've just recently torn a hamstring. So when I go into class, I'm like, okay, I need to just take it slow, right? So that's the ebb and flow of yoga, right? You're not always going to show up the same way in your mat every day.
What's that?
You're not always going to show up the same way on your mat every day.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You're going to show up where you're at, right?
Yep.
So let's talk about that, showing up where you're at. Sometimes you're injured, sometimes you're bendy, sometimes you're a newcomer, sometimes you got a bellyache, you had a long day at work. Some days you're a rock star and you fly and you have fractals come out of your head, right?
Yeah.
That's what yoga is, right?
Yeah, it's all of it. It's all of it. And it's just about being like in tune with yourself, and that's how you learn about yourself. And you know, it's not about like what the person next to you is doing or what they look like. It's about you. It's like your yoga mat is your own laboratory for life, you know. It's your own personal learning space.
Tell me some of the things that you've learned on the mat, because I'll tell you one thing that I've learned.
Okay.
And it goes back to the beginning of our conversation. Holy crap, am I affected by the energy around me?
Oh, yeah.
I have two people beside me who are like seasoned yogis, on fire. They're in a good place. They're loving. They're breathing. They're like, we just ride with each other and we flow with each other. And that my practice is like, la, right? I can draft off of their energy the same way a bicycle racer drafts off the bicycle racer in front of them, right?
Right.
I have two grumpy ass people that don't want to be there that are just, ugh. I can absorb that, right? Or people that are new and maybe aren't in flow. So when I have those situations, what I've learned is I have to switch myself away from being in flow and drafting off of people and being the one that people draft off of.
Oh, yeah.
So then I find myself becoming, okay, I'm the strong one. I am just going to be here, be present, and just be the good energy. And then you're paying attention specifically to people behind you, but you can feel their energy beside you. I can feel their energy lift as I insist upon having my energy be high. Have you discovered that?
I have discovered that. Not just on the mat.
In life.
In life.
That's yoga is life, right?
In life. Yes. Like, yes, that's exactly it. 100%.
That's been the biggest lesson. I don't say the biggest. It's been one of the blessings about yoga is, you would think that I would take my yoga practice and be able to apply that to, let's say, this radio show.
Right.
Right. So I have decided I'm showing up in the world as a positive person who's relentless, who brings as many people along with her as she can, and just shows up with that kind of energy. No matter what, every Tuesday, here I am on Relentless Talk Radio, whether there's 2 people watching or 350 or 3,500 or 5,000 or 20 million, right? It doesn't matter. I'm showing up here every day as a positive example of what it looks like to be a relentless business owner who's just showing up for life. And that's yoga.
It is. It is. Mm-hmm. And I love that about you, Michelle.
Dang it.
I just love you. All just go all the way. I love that about you.
And what I love about you is that you've always been a big, huge heart, and you get that about me. So when you are a witness to somebody's genuineness, when you're a witness to somebody's originality, and you're always that person. When we've been in meetings, we'd have a tough meeting and you'd be just right?
Yeah.
And that's what you bring to your classes, because the person that we're seeing right now, okay, everybody, we're getting to the end of our interview. So I just want to say, if you want to show up for this happy phase every day and learn what the real yoga is about, you need to contact Deanna. I'm going to put her number on the bottom of the screen right now. But tell everybody how they can get a hold of you.
You can call me at 480-371-8161. You can call me, text me, or you can find me on Facebook under my business page, which is Deanna Evans Yoga and Integrative Therapies. It's kind of a long one, but that's what it is.
That's what it is, right? That's
Yeah.
awesome. Well, Deanna, I appreciate you coming on board today. Merry Christmas.
Christmas.
And I love you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you more in the new year.
Okay, you too, Michelle. Thank you for having me.
Take care of yourself, and we'll see you in the new year.
Okay, sounds good.
Well, that's it, everybody. It's episode, we have segment 2 coming up boy, I'm tongue-tied. Segment 3 of Relentless Talk Radio is coming up next with Scott Warren. I'm a little off because we're recorded. And so just tune in, just be patient, and he'll be up next. So thanks a lot, everybody. Segment 2 of Relentless Talk Radio is done. Merry Christmas.